kicking back, drinking a beer.
Ready?
Quiet out there. Why we should be singing Christmas carols.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the December 19th, 2017 regular council meeting for the City of Brook Park. I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Scott,
Here.
Bergio,
Here.
Salvatore,
Here.
Troyer,
Yes.
Powers, McDonald. Here. Mancini.
Here.
Okay, Councilwoman Powers called earlier and says she was not feeling well, could not make the meeting, so we'll list her as an excused absence. I would ask everyone to please stand and join in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. We'll move to item C, which is approval of minutes of the preceding meetings. On the first item is the caucus that was prior to the meeting held on December 5th, 2017.
Motion to accept as presented.
Support.
There's a motion to accept as presented. It's been supported. Any discussion, corrections? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Bergio,
Yes.
Mancini,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Troyer,
Yes.
Salvatore,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Okay, the meeting minutes for December 5th, 2017 caucus prior to have been adopted. Item number 2 is the regular council meeting that was held on December 5th, 2017.
Move to approve the minutes as presented.
Support.
It's been a move to approve. It's been properly supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk please call the roll.
Troyer,
Yes.
Mancini,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Bergio,
Yes.
Salvatore,
Yes.
Okay, the meeting minutes for the council meeting held on December 5th, 2017 have been adopted. That completes items under letter C. We'll move to letter D, which is reports of standing committees, aviation and environmental. Co-Chairman Scott.
We have nothing on the agenda tonight, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Finance Committee, Councilwoman McDonald.
Yes, thank you. We have several items on the agenda this evening.
Okay, thank you. Legislative Committee, Councilman Troyer.
Thank you, Council President. Legislative Committee has one item on tonight's agenda, and I'd like to take this moment to thank all the residents of Ward 1 for allowing me to serve them for 4 years. I greatly appreciate it, and I learned a lot from it, a whole lot. And I also like to take this moment to really thank the council clerk, Michelle, for all the help you've given over the 4 years. We didn't always agree, but we always worked it out. And based on your knowledge of Robert's rules and my knowledge of what I read, we always figured out the way to get by. So, with your experience, I really believe you're a great asset to myself and this council over the last 4 years that I've been here. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move to Parks and Recreation. Councilman Mancini.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to welcome everybody tonight. I'll address the last meeting maybe a little later, but I'd promised them that I wouldn't talk a lot tonight, so, but I'll make this real brief. The sleepover was on the 9th over at the rec center. It was another little program that we had that turned out to be a great success. That was we've always kind of had it, but it was really implemented more maybe 2 years ago, and it really took off. And it's always a good success. Kids don't sleep at all. They end up sleeping all the next day, and usually that's including our basketball practice, but that's okay. Today was the seniors' little Christmas party, and I was over there. A couple of the other council members were over there. Another big success. A lot of food, a lot of sweets. They had a good time. The food was provided by Next. Timmy Chornick always does a great job, and it was a good time. Absolutely had it by all. On the 28th is the seniors' New Year's Eve party at the rec center. That'll be on a Thursday, so that'll be next week, I believe. So another good time, another little thing that was started over there, I believe, by Mary Ann and Joni and Mary Ann Brown, and just a great success. If you, obviously, some of us ain't old enough to go in there, but if you could walk by and see the good time they're having, you say, wow, it's sometimes better than most people have on midnight on the 31st. And then the kids are the next day, and that's another good one. I've been at that one a few times, and that's the 29th. So let your kids know, grandkids know, and get on over there and have a good time for our New Year's on the 29th. But that's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to the Planning Committee. Councilman Troyer?
Thank you, Mr. President. Planning Committee, as I stated last meeting, I believe, did not have a meeting this month. And I'd also like to take this moment to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and a prosperous New Year also. Thank you.
Thank you. Safety Committee, Councilman Salvatore?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First off, I would like to thank the chairman for appointing me to the position of chairman to the Safety Committee. I've enjoyed it very much throughout these last 2 years. I'd like to publicly thank our safety director for his hard work these last couple of years. There's quite a bit of accomplishments that were achieved. I'm not going to make a complete report on all the things that he's accomplished and the two departments, but the list is very, very lengthy and very impressive, some of the accomplishments that we were fortunate enough to accomplish, not only as a city, but for the individual residents that were brought in, that our safety director and our chief of police and our fire chief and many others that were associated with our department were able to bring to resolution disputes between many residents. They did an excellent job. Things that go just so unnoticed that people don't realize how many hours that they really work. And I'm extremely proud to have been the chairman of that committee, and extremely proud of our safety director, our safety forces, our chief of police, our chief of fire department, the paramedics, the patrolmen, the lieutenants, the sergeants. They just did an outstanding job. And I could truly sit here tonight and talk for hours about what they've done these last few years, but I think thank you, and Merry Christmas to all of them, and Merry Christmas to all of you on behalf of the entire both departments. I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a very, very successful New Year. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Service Committee, Councilman Bergio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have no specific update, but I too want to thank the service director and all the members of the service department for all the hard work that they've done and the response that they have given whenever I have sent memos to the mayor. Service director responded quickly to address those needs, and I know the residents appreciate that, and I certainly do too. So I want to thank them publicly for all that they've done over the years, especially the last 2 years that I've been chairman of the service committee. And I also want to wish everybody happy Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, happy, healthy, prosperous New Year.
Thank you. Board of Zoning Appeals, Councilman Scott.
Thank you, sir. Board of Zoning has nothing on the agenda tonight, and I also would like to wish my neighbors in Ward 4 and the residents of Brook Park Merry Christmas, a healthy, prosperous New Year, and I hope your families are enjoying the holidays coming up. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that concludes the items under letter D. Councilman Salvatore, would you like to make the motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would. Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to go out of regular order of business and go to audience participation.
Support.
Okay, there's a motion to go out of the regular order of business to go to remarks from the audience on any subject matter, which is letter L on the agenda. It's been properly supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Salvatore,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Bergio,
Yes.
Troyer,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Mancini,
Yes.
Okay, we are out of the regular order of business. We will go to letter L, which is remarks from the audience on any subject matter. This would be the time if anyone from the audience wants to come forward to speak at the podium. You give your name and address for the record, and you can speak on any subject matter. And we also have 3 items, just for your information, we have 3 items that are on the agenda tonight. We have a resolution that honors astronaut Senator John Glenn. On second reading and on third reading, we have two financial ordinances, one dealing with amending the 2017 appropriation and the other establishing a temporary appropriations for the first 3 months of next year. So if there's anyone that wants to come and speak to you, please come to the podium at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Rick Salvatore, resident of Brook Park for many, many years. I can't even tell you how many, it's been so many. My address, 14049 Park Drive. I'm here today as a resident, not as an elected official, to do something that is probably one of the hardest things I'm ever gonna have to do in my life, with friendships that I have with one in particular gentleman, and our relationship that we've had as in our public life. So if I may, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask Mayor Thomas J. Coyne to come down to the podium if he could. I'm gonna come out this way. Mr. Mayor,
Mambula Ragu.
on behalf of myself and a couple members of council and many, many, many other elected officials that I've had a chance to talk to, who are really behind me on making this presentation, this truly is an honor for me to do this, but also a sad time in my life to do this. Mayor, I'd like to present this plaque to you for all your accomplishments. The list is so huge. The rest of this will be delivered tomorrow by truck. You were the longest running mayor in the history of the city of Brook Park. If anybody knows this or not, I'm sure everybody does by now. You served 24 years as the mayor of our city.
And the youngest.
Not anymore. Who said that?
Elected, to ever get elected.
And I just want to tell you, say from the bottom of my heart, Mayor, thanks for the memories. And you certainly were a mayor who really and truly did it your way.
So God moves forward.
I don't want to.
I really love you, and they wanted me to sing you this special tribute in honor of you. Now, the end is near, and so I face the final.
It's not the end, please.
Yeah, but just as a song.
My friend, I'll stay clean. I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway and more, much more than this. I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all, and I stood tall and did it my way. I laughed and cried,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'd like to do it in my report. if I can.
Okay.
It's okay. Whatever you want to do with my response in my report, it'll be my last one, I hope.
All right, it's a tough act to follow, but if anyone else from the audience wants to come up for audience participation, now would be the time to come forward and make a presentation to council. So anyone wants to come forward? Need your name and address for the record?
Joanne Tabanji, 14412 Thompson Boulevard. I was here at the last meeting, and as offended as I was by Ms. Powers, I am here again because Mary Ann is extremely and utterly important to me, and my son, and the children, and the seniors, and the entire community. I have spent a lot of time with her, and she has given 110%. She goes 12-hour shifts, she hits the pavement, she gets donations, advertisements. She has done so much for this community center, and I have never been able to see anybody else do anything like it. I've been here since I was 10 years old, and I'm about to be 35. Never have I known another director besides Mary Ann. You walk in the door, she smiles, she knows your name. She knows every kid, every member, every grandparent, everyone. I've never seen anybody care with so much heart as much as Mary Ann. And like I said before, all I'm asking from the new mayor is to give her a chance, interview her, talk to her, see what she's about, because she has turned this place around with absolutely nothing. So please, just take it into consideration before you make your decision. Thank you.
Any other member of the audience want to come to the podium for audience participation? Okay, seeing no one else coming forward,
Motion to go back to the regular order of business.
Support.
motion to go back to the regular order of business has been properly supported. Seeing no discussion, I'll ask the clerk, please call the roll.
Salvatore,
Yes.
Mancini,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Troyer,
Yes.
Bergio,
Yes.
Scott.
Yes?
Okay, that motion is approved. So we're back to the regular order of business, and we're going to letter E, reports of special committees. We're going to Southwest General Health Center trustee, Councilman Salvatore.
Thanks again, Mr. Chairman. We haven't had a meeting since my last report, but I really feel that it's important that I take a moment and just briefly remind everybody of all the major accomplishments coming from our community hospital, Southwest General. The list was many, and as you heard my reports throughout the year, we were getting some type of an award almost every month. It's been a really tremendous year for Southwest. I would just like to, on behalf of our CEO, and all the members of the systems board and the health board, the entire staff, from the cleaning crew to the doctors, on behalf of everyone, I'd like to wish everyone from Brook Park a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from Southwest General Hospital. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to Berea Board Education Committee member, Councilman Bergio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A very short report. The board established the dates for the 2018 organizational meeting, and that'll be on January 8th at 6:15, and it'll be followed by the regular school board meeting. The renaming of the Middlebrooks Junior High School was approved by the board and changed to Berea Mid-Park Middle School starting 2018 school year. The girls' shower alteration at Rame was approved at a cost of $47,680. And as a construction update, David Riley, the district attorney, and the group architect discussed the increased cost of construction and possible reductions by $15 million. Removing the swimming pool because of, there's one at the new high school because there's one already exists at the Mid-Park Middle School is also discussed by superintendent. And that's all that happens, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. That completes items under letter E. We have nothing under letter F or G, so we'll move to letter H, which is reports and communications from the mayor. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have an extended report this evening that's not business, it's all personal, but I guess it could be personally business. I just want to say under item K, I've submitted to council some appointments I'd like for confirmation this evening. Well, that was something. I've never been serenaded at a council meeting before. I've been serenaded into a council meeting by the firefighters, Jim, with their bagpipes for a demonstration. That was kind of nice, but never personally serenaded. And it's interesting that they picked Frank Sinatra, who's one of my favorites. Thank Rick. And clearly the song reflects most of my life, to say the least, and probably his other song, It Was a Very Good Year, actually reflects my life. This is the second time, I guess, I'm saying goodbye. 16 years ago, I left here in 2002 after what many think is the most amazing accomplishment by a public official in this county, and that was the settlement and the approval by the voters of this city of the airport agreement. It's my proudest accomplishment, and it was one certainly that was controversial. As a matter of fact, not a single person, elected official, with the exception of Greg Single, supported me in that measure, and it was voted by the people of the city. And today, that single agreement is what sustains this community from keeping its head above water to this very day. Without it, the way we live our lives in Brook Park would be drastically different. I'm really proud to receive this plaque. I always said I never wanted anything named after me or a statue, because I didn't want to be the relief station for the pigeons that fly across or the gulls across Kennedy Park, and I still feel that way. I left in 2002, burned out. It was a very, very tough situation here in the city, and I thought that I had enough, that it was time to do something else, that I had done all I could to sustain this city for its future, and I should never have to worry about anything. As a matter of fact, my last 2 years, the people of Brook Park didn't pay property taxes to the city of Brook Park, and they did not pay very much city income tax, and I'm proud of that as well. That day may never come again, but again, it's the kind of situation I had hoped to do again. I've been through some things in my life, and when I left here, I went into the lobbying business, and I was very successful. As a matter of fact, I probably made a lot of money a little bit too fast and almost ended my life. My job was entertainment, and that entertainment almost took my life and lost my family from me. And I was in a little place in California where, as a matter of fact, Elizabeth Taylor's brick and Mickey Mantle's brick was right outside my window at Betty Ford. And while I've never crawled on my belly like a reptile for anyone, I got down on my knees and I said, if I was given an opportunity again, if I got my life back together, if I got my business and my career back together, that I would give back to those folks who gave to me. And I did that with my family. And the place that did the most for me is this little city of Brook Park, this little town right here where I played on the front lawn of this building in 1959 before we had all these ball fields. Gave me every opportunity in life to be counselor to presidents, to win a primary for the United States Congress, and yes, be a qualified elector for the President of the United States, Donald Trump. The only thing I didn't accomplish was being elected mayor as a Republican. There might be some poetic justice to that. So I was in fact, Mrs. Fisher, who always told me she never voted for me, her husband always did. And I went to the Giant Eagle at Brookgate one day, and she says, you got to come back, and you got to come back to this city and straighten it out. I said, really? Mrs. Fisher, she gave me a big hug. I'll never forget this. And all the little old ladies are coming. Mrs. Fisher's hugging the mayor. Oh, my God, what's going on? They fought for all those years. And I did. And I came back here with a mission to retain this city to the kind of city that I wanted to live in. You remember me asking these questions. As a matter of fact, Jimmy Mancini quotes me every once in a while. What kind of city do you want to live in? I believed that you believed with me that you wanted to live in the kind of city that I grew up in. This town right here. Best city to raise a family in America. And that was my mission to come back here. That was my quest, that was my goal to do so, and damn near we almost got it. I came back here with a knowledge and understanding of how this city breathes every single day, second to none. Nobody has the knowledge of how this city operates and what its potential is. I'd rather talk about potential. It reached its greatest potential under Mayor Tom Coyne, and we're almost there again. I asked the voters of this city on 2 occasions to help me. Give me this revenue, and here's what we'll do. And they said, no, we're not going to do that. We demand this level of service with the resources you have. And I did it. And was it hard? You're damn right it was hard. Sure it was hard, but that was my job, and I did it. Tonight before I leave, I'm going to do my job going out the door to protect the interest of people who did not vote for me on the west end of the city because they have been wronged, because what I left in understanding was changed and put them in a precarious position. So I'm going out this door, again, protecting the rights of the people of this community. I took this picture off the wall, and what this is a picture of Mayor Coyne with the kids at Brook Park Memorial Day. It says, a part of the mayor's day, meeting with tomorrow's leaders. Do you see this? This is the only thing that really mattered to me. These kids. Today and tomorrow and for the future. And what I'm seeing today, Tom Coyne's time is done as the mayor of the city. I will never run for mayor again. The people of this city don't love me anymore. But I still love this town. And I'm going to sit back and watch and give advice and counsel. I'm so proud of 3 new young people that are coming to city council. Probably if they would have been elected the last time, I probably wouldn't have run. I see a hope there, but I also see a cancer and a poison that has to be eradicated from this city so that citizens can get the facts and the truth about what's going on. The last 2 years have been the most difficult time of my tenure as mayor because we spun our rules and foolish things, our wheels, and just foolish things that got nowhere because we had a atmosphere that we're going to obstruct no matter what. And I persevered through that. We never stopped. We never stopped. And we put the city in a position to, the rec center is going to be renovated. I won't get to see that, but it's on its way. You're going to have a new city hall. And you'll have a pool open, all right, but you're not going to open it for $200,000. That'll be the first thing I give to the new council. It's going to be several million. And this city has to make a decision, again, what kind of city do they want to live in? And make no mistake about it, unless these citizens are willing, because there's no dream coming down the corner here. You'll find out very soon, no matter who's promising you magic, it's not happening very soon. You have to take stock in the city that you live in. You have to make it what it is. And for some small sacrifices, it can be done. My greatest regret is going out there, and I lost between women 79 and 81 because they were mad about the senior snow removal program. They believed they still had to pay hundreds of dollars. What a tragedy that those people didn't enjoy those programs because of that. They're signing up now. We're seeing expansive things for them, and they're getting the best services. Can you imagine people complaining that they got a landscaper taking care of their driveway and their grass in a middle-class American city? That's what we got here. We got great things. There's nothing wrong with this town, except some of the folks that occupy these seats up there that go out and talk to these people. My other surprise was this. I don't know who lives here anymore. There's so many new people and new faces and new families out there that have to be touched and reached and told a story about the possibility of the city. And before I close, I just want to recognize a few things. You've heard so much about this. How much is it, Ted? $2 million cabinet? $3 million? Ted Hurst, my building commissioner, what a remarkable job that he's done for the city of Brook Park. When I interviewed Ted, he said to me, Mayor, before you talk, first of all, he was nominated by his Aunt Dodie, and you know I never listened to Dodie, so right away Dodie Caveney, who we lost last year. And he laid out for me all the things that he had wanted to do, and those were the things that I wanted from the building department coming in. He already had the leg up. The Quonset hut is finally down on Brook Park Road. The damn railroad caboose is gone, and the house on Wengler Playground was torn down today. All right, neighborhoods of the city that you're seeing revitalization in the Brook Park Road corridor itself, by the way, that was kind of the throw-in with the airport deal. Look at the transformation of Brook Park Road, which I believe will continue. Okay, we have Jennifer Sinatra, who's in charge of our human resources for the city of Brook Park. Jennifer's with us tonight. You've read about her for 4 years. Jennifer, thanks for coming tonight. My dear friend, the counselor, and our economic development director, Mike Dolan, who worked so hard while so many of our seniors on the HMAP program, that some of them got life-saving improvements to their home. We want to thank council for passing it, but Mike did all the hard work with those people. Okay, we also have Patty Okar is with us this evening. Patty does all the communications for the city, all the nice things that you read on the Facebook page, and all of that is Patty's job. And about the only thing that Mayor Elliott ever really listened to me on was he kept a switchboard operator. Terry, stand up, would you please? Everybody from Brook Park talks to this young lady, and she is absolutely remarkable in dealing with our residents. She tells them off when they got it coming, and she gives them the right information. But isn't it nice to call the city hall and talk to a human being? Huh? All right. The sheriff, David Burns, who I brought here, a retired. I know Jim was probably shocked when he saw his predecessor that I've nominated him for my safety director. The head of the firefighters, Dave, did a remarkable job for us and our safety forces and all of them, knowing that the problem with our situation is we can't man our facilities and our departments, all of them, like we used to, because of the revenues that we have. We have to balance it out, and the directors have to get the most out of what they have. And police and fire, kicking and screaming sometimes, they've performed admirably, all of them, working with us to help us get the job done out there. And we live in one of the safest cities in America because of that. Where's my right arm, Louis Kayat? Where'd Louis go? Okay, is he out there? The service department, the challenge, they hit the most layoffs and have performed. Nobody plows snow better than the Brook Park Service Department. Okay, finally, seems to be the woman of controversy that I'm the most proud about, because again, when I show you this picture, this is always what's meant the most to me. Mary Ann Fields, our recreation director. I charged her with a very difficult task. I said, I want this department to respond like Bill Huffsey was here. And if anybody who's really old like me and Rick Salvatore will remember Bill Huffsey. Every child in this town knew who he was and loved him. We found out when he was adult he had a few faults, but we loved him as kids. And Mary Ann answered that challenge and then some. Absolutely remarkable. There are so many young children and families that depend on her. It's beyond belief. And every mayor is entitled to appoint who they feel, if they're qualified to do the job. Mary Ann's going to be a blessing for somebody else, but her time here was clearly well spent, and we're grateful. As a matter of fact, that's where she's at tonight. I think their meetings are going to be shorter because Mary's not going to be writing Jimmy Mancini's reports anymore. Okay. Carol Horvath, who I opposed her election, she's one little tough Irish woman and a brilliant lawyer, I've come to learn. And we've worked together very, very well. I've seen her, you used to see her at the council meetings, but Carol handles all things that are challenging a city, and I hope she's going to have a long career here. I believe that she will. The number man, Greg Single. I could share a story with you now. Many years ago when he I interviewed him to be the finance director when Shelby Lahoon retired. And we were at the old TGA Fridays over in Great Northern Shopping Center. And I was impressed with him. I knew his family, good guy, born and raised here in our city. And so we left there and we're at the park. I said, wait a minute. I said, are you registered to vote? So what do you mean? I never asked that question. I said, are you registered to? No, I says, get your butt over to that library and register to vote because you have to be a qualified elector to get appointed the finance director, and you're up for a vote tonight. So that's how we did that. Okay, I'm going to close this out. It was interesting. I don't think the curtain is over for me at all. I will continue to be involved in politics. I believe that the president is considering me for something. What I'd really like to do is help him provide a program to the nation that will put a lot of people to work in the infrastructure. You'll be seeing some writings about me. I'm very concerned about the pensions of not only public employees, but union employees throughout this country. That's an issue that's always been of utmost concern to me. So I hope to be that voice. While I couldn't finish rebuilding a great American city, I can't help the president, I believe, still has the greatest domestic program to make this country greater than it's ever been. I had three heroes in my life, and this is my closing argument. Jack Kennedy, for obvious reasons. He was an Irish Catholic. And my mother always wanted me to be the second Irish Catholic president of the United States. My grandmother wanted me to be a priest, and I fell in somewhere between by becoming mayor of the city of Brook Park. But I thought he was the most charismatic leader that our country has ever seen, and I think the only one who could have led our country better than Roosevelt in time of war would have been Jack Kennedy. And I can still remember as a little boy people having a picture of the Pope and President Kennedy in their homes with their infant de pragues, particularly here in Brook Park. So I learned from him and his ability, I think, to address the media. The second person who I think was one of the greatest people in history was Winston Churchill, who led his nation through insurmountable odds. And sometimes it always felt that the whole world was against us. Who's this little Brook Park demanding that they have NASA Glenn, which was part of the airport deal? Who's this little Brook Park fighting this? What are they doing? Why are they fighting the utilities? Why are they thinking about this? We were always at the forefront of a battle that many people in this region benefited, and most of the time we were successful. And I'm proud of that, and I hope that spirit never leaves whoever sits in this chair or sits at this dais. And finally, my truly great American hero was Douglas MacArthur. And I guess that's kind of the way I feel today. My first time I left, I was kind of burned off, and maybe my only regret is I didn't stay. Maybe that would have been good or bad, but maybe if I would have stayed, things would have been better. I don't know. But MacArthur was thrown off of his island, and he vowed to return, and he did. And he rebuilt that island, and he rebuilt a country that was our enemy. But he was taken away, probably in his greatest hours, in Korea, when he told the world what the problem was and what was going to happen. And he was relieved of his command much too early. But maybe some will. I'm being relieved of my command earlier than I had planned, but I hope that the things that I have tried to accomplish for the city be continued. I hope the vision for the city that I still have is realized by this community, and I have no regrets of any decision that I made as the mayor of this city. Not a single one. Because every one of them, every single day, I thought was the best one for this community, whether folks liked it or not. That's what I had to do. And I remember in all of my polls, my consultants, the first question is, you think Tom Coyne is arrogant and bossy? You're damn right I am. I'm confident and bossy. But everyone who's ever worked with me or even opposed me at the end, the final result usually worked out pretty well. So all I can say is this, farewell, God bless, and thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, council, any questions to the mayor? Seeing no questions? Huh? Jimmy, did you? Councilman Smith?
I did.
Sorry.
Mayor, you could keep walking too, that's okay. I'm gonna kind of fill you in a little bit. Well, I wish they would have played an Irish song for you there at the end too, when she did that Frank Sinatra song, but, or Elvis Presley, but me as a person, obviously we both started at the service garage, and I wouldn't have been there because of you. Angelo Weedle put me down there after he got defeated at the installment of my mother, because she pushed him to do it, and ended up working because you kept me on there. And I want to say that I look at a lot of people out there. I've seen a lot of the seniors today, seen a lot of people in Brook Park. You yourself just said that there's a lot of new families here, and I want to think, Mayor, that it's because of you. We're borderline with the city of Cleveland. Some suburbs haven't worked out that well, but each time you've left, both times you left, you've put us in good shape. And there is nobody here, nobody nowhere is going to tell me anything different regardless. One thing when I was out there, there's this past year when I was campaigning, the one thing I definitely had to say, Mayor, is your heart is here. It'll always be here. You gave. You gave more of yourself whenever I asked you. Somebody was in need, somebody was hurting, somebody needed. You were always there. I can't think of maybe one time you ever told me or told a resident no. And when my parents had a house fire back in '94, you were the first one there. And it was a tough time for my parents. They lost a lot of personal items. They lost a lot. That's the type of guy you were. You made a comment that people don't love you no more. And Mayor, I beg to differ. They might have disagreed with you maybe a little politically, or maybe a decision or two that you made, but I believe this town loves you, and you put this town in a great, great shape. Yes, obviously when you left in 2001, but obviously when you're leaving now, and it sure was, these past 2 years were rough, but I always say I got a college education here the last 4 years, and you were a big part of it. There's been some rough times, but I've never seen you turn away from the fight. So as a person, and I'd like to think that I speak for a lot of residents and people in Brook Park, I'd like to thank you, because I think you're a great man. You've done a lot of great things. You put this city where it is today. Still got some ways to go, but it's because of you we're in that direction. But I thank you for all of that. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Councilman Bergio?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mayor, speaking as a resident for most of those years that you were the mayor, bought my first house in Brook Park in 1976, raised all my kids in the city, and I want to thank you for paving the way and for all the programs and things that made my life and my family's life so good in Brook Park growing up. They've had a good place to live, and we use that saying over and over again, and to grow up and retire in, but it really is the truth. A lot of programs that we have today were started by you. All of what other city has a sewer truck? I mean, that's unheard of. But we did it because we could do it. The funding was there because of Ford. You've always supported Ford because it was important to make sure they stayed in our city, and I think they stayed here a long time because of some of the things, your relationship with them, and some of the tax incentives that council approved over many years, and we benefited from all that, and all the things that you struggled to try to make Brook Park a better place. We had the terrific flooding problems in the 80s that we spent millions of dollars on to correct. We still have some flooding problems, but not like it was in the 80s. Buying out the bars on the north side of Brook Park, I think that was a huge thing because we can control the north side of the border, and I thought that was a great thing to do, using Cleveland's own money to do so. We can see what has happened on Brook Park Road now. It's come a long, long way. It's so much better. It has improved our city. You mentioned the historic airport agreement. At that time, I think NASA was only generating less than $2 million revenue, tax revenue. Now it's a lot more than that. Where would we be without that? So, all in all, I just want to thank you for all the contributions you've made to the city over the years to make it a better place. And there's no doubt in my mind that you love this city. I think everybody knows that. So, congratulations, and I just want to thank you for what you provided.
I didn't get the dog park done for you, Carl. I failed.
Well, you made the effort, though, and I appreciate that, too. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no other questions or comments, we'll move the agenda. We'll go to page 2, letter I, reports and communications from departments, commissions, and other public officials. We'll go to the city engineer, Mr. Pietek.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple quick items tonight. Quick update on the Sylvia project. That's the reconstruction between Fry and Smith. Construction work is scheduled to resume there tomorrow and will continue through Thursday or early into Friday, after which the contractor is going to clean up all the barrels and signs, and the road will be back open to two-way traffic like it was before. So we had a little delay there with the weather and getting a couple things done, but looks like we'll have a window here to get it squared away for everybody. The crack sealing project, work is going to resume there tomorrow. We've got some more sealing to do over on Champaign, Defiance, in that area, also on Crestview and Forest View area. Lastly, I'd just like to take the opportunity to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. That's all I have this evening.
So any questions to the engineer? Councilman Mancini?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for recognizing me. Ed, if we could real quick, is there any tentative date on this Sylvia here getting done? A date, like?
We'll have the road open before Christmas. If it's
Okay.
not Thursday night, it'll be Friday morning.
Okay, I get asked, so I figured I'd ask. And one other thing, at the senior event today, a couple people told me on Smith Road, right there by Highland, there's some type of sign or something I believe the county put up, and it's been leaning or falling. So if maybe tomorrow you could get a good look at that. I'd appreciate that. You always do me well. I appreciate it. Okay, thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay. Council, any other questions to the engineer? Councilman Troyer?
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Through the chair of the engineer, Mr. Pietek, I just want to have a note for you that Gross could use some crack sealing over there.
Okay, noted.
Thank you.
Seeing no other questions to the engineer, we'll move to the safety director, Mr. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First off, I want to thank Councilman Salvatore for your kind words before, and it was very nice. And on behalf of the police and fire department, animal control, and even the building department that works under the authority I had, I want to offer my thanks. They've all done a great job, and it wouldn't have been possible without all of their support. But thank you for recognizing that. I also want to take this opportunity to thank council for your help during the last 4 years. It's been an honor to work here and to work for the people of Brook Park and for the mayor, and for that I'm very appreciative. I certainly want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. It has dawned on me just a moment ago that of the administrative staff that you mentioned, Mayor, I'm the only one with a microphone. So on behalf of my colleagues who work for the city, half of which you said was the truth.
You're not suggesting we're giving one, I hope, and I hope Jim's not going to allow it.
But I want to thank you for those words on behalf of all of us. And it was an honor to work for you as well. I've learned a lot. As some people here know, we always didn't get along very well in our careers. And it's ironic we end up here. But saying that, I want to give everyone here one big gift. I lost the coin flip and she sang the song. So Merry Christmas. Thank you.
David.
Thank you.
Council, any questions of the safety director? Seeing no questions, thank you. We'll move to the law director, Mrs. Horvath.
Thank you very much, Mr. Council President. I wanted to talk a little bit about the pending active civil litigation that we currently have. With regard to a case in federal court, the case of Hallis versus Chief Foster, I wanted to indicate to council that this particular matter has been voluntarily dismissed by the plaintiff. The plaintiff had sued our chief and others for over $2 million in federal court. And I'm very glad to say that matter will no longer be pending. That leaves us with two cases. One is a foreclosure. The city is involved because we have a lien on the house, and a default hearing is scheduled in that matter. And we also have a case pending in the Court of Claims involving public records requests. And in that particular case, mediation is still in progress. So what I'm hoping is, since I have such a short case list, that perhaps you'll indulge me and speak a little bit about matters which are not technically legal matters, but are still things which I feel are important to say. This is the last meeting of the year and the last meeting of this council's term. And at this time, I just wanted to acknowledge Council President Astorino, Councilwoman Powers, although she's not here, and Councilman Troyer, who are at the end of their terms, and wish them a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I also wanted to say to Councilwoman Rachel McDonald that you have performed the equivalent of coming in to pinch hit in the sixth inning with the bases loaded, and you've done so with grace and style. And I wanted to thank you for your insight and professionalism. I've enjoyed working with you and wish you and your family a happy holiday. Mr. Kayette and Marianne Fields aren't here tonight, but I wanted to thank them for their service and the help and assistance that they've given through the last 2 years to the legal department. I hope they and their family have a happy holiday also. To Dave Burns, our Safety Director, I wanted to thank you for all of your hard work in keeping us safe, for your dedication, your professionalism. Certainly, due to your daily efforts, we the citizens can move around the city do our daily business without even a second thought. And I wanted to thank you very much for your efforts. With regard to the commissioners who are in the audience, Mr. Dolan, Ms. Sinatra, Patty Okar, again, I wanted to thank you for all your help to the legal department and for your hard work. And I hope you and your family have a Merry Christmas and very happy holiday. Same to Ted and Terry. And to Mayor Coyne, it's been said tonight that you've been mayor for about 24 years. And I believe that the last 4 years here have been the most significant years of your mayoral service. And it's been very much my pleasure to serve with you for the last 2 years. And I wanted to thank you for your dedication to our city. And I'd like to paraphrase an old saying to express my thoughts. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. May you get all of your wishes but one, so you always have something to strive for. And may the dreams that you hold dearest be those which come true.
Sounds like an Irish blessing, Counselor.
Well, I did say I was going to paraphrase.
Thank you.
So, Merry Christmas to you and your family, Mayor.
God bless you.
Merry Christmas to the newly elected officials I see in the audience, Mr. Vecchio, Mr. Poindexter, Mr. Orcutt, and to returning council, Councilman Salvatore Bergio and Mr. Scott, Mr. Mancini, and also to our clerk, Michelle. And I also wanted to wish a happy holiday, Mr. Piatek and Mr. Single, who had indicated at the last meeting that the meeting was probably so very short because I didn't talk at all. So thank you very much. Merry Christmas to everyone.
Council, any questions of the law director? Seeing no questions, thank you. We'll move to the finance director, Mr. Single.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The administration thanks council for your consideration of ordinance 11,008, 2017, and 11,009, 2017 on tonight's agenda. My hope is that they both will be passed this evening so that we can close out fiscal year 2017 and begin to prepare for fiscal year 2018. Also, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to wish you, Councilman Troyer, Councilwoman Powers, Councilwoman McDonald, all the best wishes in your future endeavors. I hope you all, continue to stay active in the community. And if there's anything I can ever do for any of you, please let me know. Dave Burns, Lou Kayat, Marianne Fields, Mike Dolan, Jennifer Sinatra, Patty Okar, probably missing a few. It was wonderful working with all you guys the last 4 years. Thank you for all that you've done for the finance department. Again, wish you all the best in your future endeavors, and if there's anything I can do to assist or help, please let me know. Jimmy, Carl, Rick, and Rich, see you next year. To the newly elected council members, Mr. Vecchio, Mr. Poindexter, Mr. Orcutt, look forward to working with you over the next 2 years. Again, if there's anything I can do, to help you succeed in your term, please let me know. And finally, Mayor Coyne, there's not much more to be said than's been said tonight. You weren't supposed to say anything about that meeting that occurred over 22 years ago. But I thank you for all you've done for me personally and professionally. And I again wish you the best of luck in all your future endeavors. And I know I'll see you at the gym in the new year. And finally, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to wish all the residents of Brook Park a Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy, and prosperous 2018. Thank you.
Mr. Single. Council, any questions of the finance director? Seeing no questions, thank you very much. That concludes the items under letter I. We'll move to letter J on the agenda, which is other communications and petitions and verbal approval and introduction of new legislation. We have one item that's being introduced. It's a resolution that's being introduced by Mayor Coyne to authorize the mayor to enter into an all hazards mitigation plan with Cuyahoga County. We'll place that in the safety committee. Council, or Mayor, do you have any other additional legislation to be introduced tonight? Okay, seeing no more legislation. That concludes letter J. We'll move to letter K, which is miscellaneous business, appointments, and confirmations.
Chairman?
Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
Submitted to council the consideration for appointments of 3 of our citizens to the vacancies on the Planning Commission. Gloria Sensel to fill the unexpired term of Mike Vecchio was elected council president, which ends in 12/20. Jennifer Roberts to fill the unexpired term of Gregory Stem, which ends in December of 2019, and Timothy Chornak to fill the unexpired term of Ed Orcutt, ending in December of 2019 as an unexpired term.
Council, what's your pleasure?
Motion for mass approval, verbal approval on the three appointments.
Support.
Okay, there's a motion to approve the 3 appointments to the Planning Commission. It's been properly supported. Open for discussion. Seeing no discussion, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Scott,
Yes.
Mancini,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Troyer,
Abstain.
Salvatore,
Yes.
Bergio,
Yes.
one abstention.
Okay, so those appointments have been confirmed by council.
Thank you.
Council President? Sir?
Councilman Scott?
Yeah, there's a request out here through the council's void of, there was a request to fill the remaining term left by the untimely death of Jerome Kitchen. Like I said, to fill the remaining term for the left by the untimely death of Rich Kostranik. So I would like council to approve Mr. Kitchen to fill the remaining term for Mr. Rich Kostranik.
Support.
Okay, there's a motion to confirm Jerome Kitchen to the Recreation Advisory Board, is it?
Yes, sir.
And properly supported, open for discussion. Seeing no discussion, I'll ask the clerk, please call the roll.
Scott?
Yes.
Perugino?
Yes.
Salvatore?
Yes.
Troyer?
Abstain.
McDonald?
Yes.
Mancini?
Yes.
Abstention.
Okay, so that motion has been approved. Any other
Thank you,
items
sir.
under letter K?
Thank you.
Okay, seeing no other items under letter K, we've already addressed letter L on remarks from the audience, so we'll move to, we have nothing under letter M for first reading, so we'll move to letter N, which is second reading of ordinances and resolutions. We'll go to resolution number 30-2017.
Honoring astronaut and Senator John Glenn and declaring an emergency, introduced by Councilman Troyer.
Move to suspend.
Support.
There's a motion to suspend. It's been properly supported. Is there a discussion on suspension? Councilman Troyer, I was curious as far as co-sponsors. Would you be accepting co-sponsors for this?
Sure.
I'd like to be listed as a co-sponsor. Anyone else want to be listed as a co-sponsor? Okay. Okay, so there's a motion to suspend. It's been properly supported. No other discussion. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on suspension.
Troyer?
Yes.
Mancini?
Yes.
McDonald?
No.
Salvatore?
No.
Perugino?
No.
Scott?
No.
2-4. Motion
Okay,
carries.
resolution number 30-2017 has had its second reading. That concludes the items under second reading, so we'll move to letter O, which is third reading of ordinance and resolutions. We'll go to item number 1, which is ordinance number 11,008-2017.
Introduced by Mayor Coyne, amending ordinance number 10,070-2017, the appropriation ordinance for the city of Brook Park, and declaring an emergency.
Motion to adopt.
Support.
There's been a motion to adopt. It's been properly supported. Is there discussion on adoption? Seeing no discussion, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll on adoption.
Scott?
Yes.
Mancini?
Yes.
McDonald?
Yes.
Troyer?
No.
Salvatore?
Yes.
Perugino?
Yes.
5-1.
Ordinance number 11,008-2017 has been adopted on third reading. We'll move to item number 2, which is ordinance number 11,009-2017.
Introduced by Mayor Coyne, to provide for the temporary appropriations of the city of Brook Park, state of Ohio, for the 3 months ending on March 31, 2018, and declaring an emergency.
Move to adopt.
Support.
There's been a motion to adopt. It's been properly supported. Is there discussion on adoption? Seeing no discussion, I'll ask the clerk please call the roll.
Mancini?
Yes.
Perugino?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Salvatore?
Yes.
Troyer?
Yes.
McDonald?
Yes.
Ordinance number 11,009-2017 has been adopted on third reading. You're welcome, Mr. Single.
Thank you.
Council, at this time, I'd like to take a motion. That concludes items on third reading, so I'd like to take a motion to go into executive session
Motion so made.
for the purpose of pending legal matters and litigation.
Support.
Motion's been made to go into executive session. Been properly supported. Clerk, please call the roll on.
Troyer?
Yes.
Mancini?
Yes.
McDonald?
Yes.
Salvatore?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Perugino?
Yes.
Okay, at 8:35, we will go into executive session for the purposes of pending legal matters and litigation. Council, I'd ask everyone to just go right back there immediately.
If not sooner?
Huh?
Sooner?
Immediately, if not sooner.
soon as these, as quick as these old ladies